Yes. We live. Yes. Okay, so I ain't gonna curse.
Make sure the camera's right. Are we live? Are we live? Are we live? Are we live? Hold up. Are we live? Are we live? Are we live? Are we live?
Bro, you man. Queens native.
Queens native, man.
Queens native.
We go way.
Professional basketball player. 12-year career.
Yeah, still going, bro.
Still going. So, look, I guess I'm gonna start at the beginning. Born in St. Louis. Grew up in Queens. I mean, I bounced around a little bit. But I gotta ask you, bro. Where did your passion come from?
It was how much fun we had. You know, like we weren't in the highest league, but we had fun. Like every game was fun. You know.
Let me make sure the camera's right. Let me make sure the camera's tight. Are we live? Hold up. Let me make sure it's right. Let me make sure it's tight. Are we live? Oh yeah. Big Flea, CO here. Back at it again, y'all. Back at it again. Are we live? Episode 43, y'all. Are we live? Episode 43. Creeping up on that 50 mark, y'all. Creeping up on that 50 mark. I want to thank y'all so much for joining me as I bring y'all the latest edition of Are We Live. Again, like, share, comment, save this episode once I post it, y'all. Save this episode once I post it, y'all. Throw a little scream emoji in the comments. Let me know you in the house with me today. Let me know you rocking with me today, y'all. Again, thank y'all so much for jumping in with me and tapping in with me. Want to give a special thanks to Mr. Darryl Showtime Hill for tapping in with us last episode. Had a little technical difficulties. We are working on getting him back on so he could finish his story. So shout out to D Hill. We're going to get him back on. But got a great show ahead today. Got a basketball lifer, basketball royalty jumping on with us today. This should be a great episode. Just want to throw up who we going to be rapping with today. I don't know if y'all can see that picture, but if you can't, we're going to be rapping with Mr. Antoine Mason. If that sounds familiar, it's supposed to, because we will be rapping with Anthony Mason's son today. So this should be great, y'all. Again, if y'all in the house with me, throw a little scream emoji in the comments. Let me know you rocking with me. Y'all. Let me see if I could get Antoine in the house with us. And we're going to get this good conversation going. Don't look like he's in here yet, but that's all good. Hope everybody had a blessed weekend. Hope everybody is feeling good. Let me check in, see who I got in the house with me already. Look like I got my sister in the house. What's up, C? Dave is in the house. Appreciate you, brother. Woody is in the house. Appreciate you, bro. Look like I got Mavs in the house. Mavs, appreciate you, brother. Yeah, we're going to have Antoine Mason on tonight. Woody, we're going to have Anthony Mason's son on tonight. This should be a goodie, yo. This should be a real good one. Let's see. Try to invite my brother in the room and get this one going. It's all good. We're going to give him a few moments to get himself together, get himself going. But, yeah, like I was saying, we working on Darryl Hill. I know everybody's been hitting me up about that. I want to apologize first and foremost for the technical difficulties that we had with his episode last week. It's going to happen. You know, we're building this thing. Certain things are going to happen. It's all good. Let's see who else I got in the house. Appreciate y'all once again for stopping in. Again, if you in the house, throw a little scream emoji in the comments. Let me know you rocking with me. Let me know you in the house today, y'all. Look like Gibbs just jumped in. Appreciate you, brother. And it looked like Twan just sent me a message. We're gonna get him in the house.
What's good?
Antoine, what's good, boss?
Chilling. How are you?
I'm good, brother. I'm good. How you feeling, man?
I'm good.
Yo, man, I want to start by saying I appreciate you so much for taking some time and doing this with me, brother. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Nah, it's an honor. It's an honor, brother. You have no idea. It's an honor, man. Thank you so much, man. Um, if you give me a second though, I want to introduce you right, let everybody know, who we got on today.
Okay.
So just give me a moment. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know who you're looking at right now, this is in my humble opinion, this is basketball royalty. If you don't know, we have Mr. Antoine Mason joining us on Are We Live today. Another Queens native, took his talents out to New Rochelle, where he made a name for himself, was able to parlay that into a 4-year basketball scholarship at Niagara University, was able to turn that into an opportunity to play at Auburn University his senior season, where he continued to just kill the competition. Went on to play professionally over in Canada, over in Cyprus, over in Spain, just to name a few. Please help me welcome to the show, Mr. Antoine Mason.
Thanks for having me.
My dog, I appreciate you for doing this, brother. I appreciate you for doing this, man. So here's the thing, Twan. I didn't know you was from Queens, right? I didn't know you
Yeah.
were from Queens. I always thought, you were in New Rochelle, from the start. But how long was you in Queens? And when did you make that transition to New Rochelle?
I was probably in Queens since about 8 or so, and
Okay.
then we transitioned into New Rochelle.
Got you.
Yep.
Okay. So again, if everybody don't know, this is I'm a New York Knicks fan, born and raised, like die hard. Your father, the late great Mr. Anthony Mason, was one of my favorite players. So I'm just curious, man, how does an NBA father introduce basketball to his son? How did you get introduced to the game?
Just me going to his games. My
Okay.
mom used to always have me in her arms, and I was always at Madison Square Garden. So I was just a little kid running around the whole, gym stadium, and then it kind of just being around it, I fell in love with it. But he never put pressure on me to play the sport.
Okay.
That was the last sport they introduced me to. But they'll have me try out different sports, but I always came back home grabbing a basketball, wanting to
Right.
play basketball. So
Okay. So they gave you that little bit of freedom to kind of pick what you wanted
yeah,
to. Okay. Okay, that's dope. But you were kind of young, right? You were kind of young during that, the 90s Knicks is like, they hold a near and dear spot in my
yeah.
heart, right? So you were kind of young going through that 90s Knicks era. Are there any fond memories that you have during that era, being around while your pops was, doing his thing?
Yeah, just being around, being in that crowd, that energy in Madison Square
Yeah.
Garden was just different. Like even as a kid, you notice is different. And just seeing like players, I had the opportunity to see them like after the game. Obviously the whole Knicks still close with
Okay.
most of them, but seeing Michael Jordan and legends, you
Yeah.
get to see people, and as a kid you take it for granted because you don't know what the opportunity or what
Right.
situation it is until you get older and you realize like, wow, that was pretty special that I was able to
Yeah.
see this person, that person.
Where everybody don't get that opportunity. That's
Mhm.
special. That's special, man. That's dope. So was your pops being an NBA player, is your pops the only person to have early influence on your game, or were there some other guys besides him that kind of influenced you coming up?
Obviously he's still my favorite player to this day. So
Okay.
being in the house with, a professional, I always looked up to him since day one. But then having, some of his teammates, I always loved John Starks. I used to run around as a kid
Okay.
shooting corner threes and then like
Yeah.
falling, be like, I'm falling like John Starks, and my dad used to laugh.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you know, obviously watching my dad, he's number one. But then just watching the game and seeing certain players like Allen Iverson, obviously Michael Jordan. I hated Michael, but you got
Okay.
to respect his game.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And then now my second favorite player of all time was Dwayne Wade, which
Okay.
is actually funny because my dad introduced me to him. He was like, "It's this kid that's coming up in these open runs." This is when he was in Milwaukee,
Okay.
and he was like, "Yo, he's
Okay. So
tough."
this is when he's at Marquette.
Yeah, this is
Okay.
when he was at Marquette, and he was
Okay.
like, "This, he's gonna be a pro. He's tough." And I was like, "Who's that?" And he was like, "Dwayne Wade." And I started looking at his career and start patterning my game after him and everything.
I was getting prepared for this, watching your game, watching how. Now, obviously, I've watched you over the years, but
Mhm.
just refreshing myself on your game. Now that you say Dwayne Wade was one of your favorites, I could see all I could see all of that in your game. Now,
Yeah,
you take a lot from D Wade.
yeah. I study his game like inside and out. I study a lot of other people's games, but that's like the main person that I pattern my game after.
Got you, got you, got you. So, coming up as an NBA player's son, is there any added pressure to your development? Like, like, are you supposed to be nice because you an NBA player's son? How does that work? Could you shed
Yeah,
some light on that?
obviously when you're playing, especially in New York, people got to talk trash and like put that pressure on you. But having that extra, oh, you're an NBA player, so oh, you're supposed to be nice. You're supposed to be this.
Right, right.
And when I was younger, I wasn't the best person or the best player,
Mhm.
and I had to work through that, which I actually think it was a blessing because it was like, all right, if you really want to play ball, then you got to develop it. It didn't come easy, like some people are. It's just natural.
Right, right.
Um, so I had to like really work on it, and it was people that were ahead of me, like on my team that were better than me, or people I played against that was better than me. And in a couple of years, I was better than them, and
Mhm.
it was like obvious. It was like I was happy to see that
Okay,
I'm up on that next level. So for
definitely.
me, it wasn't the pressure of having an NBA father. It was more pressure of me working on my own game,
Okay.
finding my own self.
Having your own
Yeah,
identity.
because
Okay.
when I first started playing ball, they had me at the four, and I was small. Like I
Yeah.
was like the smallest four man probably in history in AAU, but they had me like, expecting that I'm going to grow like my dad. But it actually helped my game because now if I have small guards, I still could go in the post
Take them
and
down to
work
the
on it. So
post. Yeah.
everything, yeah, happens
Yeah.
for a reason. So
Got you. Got you.
I'm happy about the early experience as a forward, even though I had no no reason to be
Yeah.
down
Yeah.
there
Yeah.
against bigs, but even now I could guard bigs, and
Mhm.
my dad taught me how to play because he guarded every position. Taught me how to play certain things. So
Such
things
a
that I
damn
learned
good
from
defender,
him,
man.
yeah, and the experiences that helped me develop to today.
That's dope. That's dope. That's dope. So again, got a dad that was in the NBA, played at the highest level.
Hmm.
But then, some folks forget that you got an older brother too. And your
Yeah,
older brother played at a pretty high level too. 4 years at
hmm
St. John's, was an excellent player over there. What's that relationship like in terms of basketball when you growing up? Are y'all going at it? Is there a sibling rivalry? What's that like growing up?
uh, it was a competition with all the Masons. Like I wanted to be. I told my dad I wanted to be the best Mason, and he said, "You got some big shoes to fill." I wasn't
Okay.
just looking to be better than my brother. I'm like, "Nah, you're the top dog. You're the one in the NBA. Everybody
Okay.
know you. I want to be better than you."
Okay.
That's what I said since I was younger. So that was my competition. Obviously I had a brother in St. John's, and
Mm,
he did well. So I was like,
right.
okay, I gotta when I get that opportunity, make my name as well. So
Absolutely.
it was competition everywhere. I'm competitive. I get it from both of my parents. They're both competitive, so
Right, right, okay.
I always put pressure on myself. Like I want to get to that level. I want to be better than my dad.
Gotcha. Gotcha. I'm sure your brother was striving for that too, right?
Yeah,
There's that
yeah.
competition in the crib. Yeah. That's dope. That's dope. So I read somewhere, man, where it was talking about how you attended Iona Prep first
Hmm.
before
Yeah.
heading over to New Rochelle. Um,
Hmm.
what went into that, when went into that decision? Why didn't you stay your 4 years at Iona Prep? Why head over to New Rochelle?
Um, Initially coming out of middle school, I wanted to go to New Rochelle,
Okay.
but my mom, she thought it would, for the education purpose, would have been better to go to Iona Prep.
Okay.
And when I went there, I was, honor roll, ace, had a 95 average or whatever. And it was kind of easy for me. So she gave me the opportunity to, play where I wanted to play.
Okay. Okay.
And, my dad always took care of basketball. My mom made sure I had the grades. So,
Right. Right.
um,
Go hand in hand. Yeah.
yeah. And it was a tough decision leaving Iona Prep because became friends with like people that I'm still friends with today. And I
Okay.
knew that team, I said by my junior year was gonna win it, that conference. Like we had a
Oh,
lot of talent. So I was like,
y'all was that good.
yeah. So I was like, do I want to leave
Mhm.
or do I want to make a name for myself? And I had to make that decision. Like, all right, I got to sacrifice, even though I know that team is going to be good, that I put myself in the best position and, grow from that.
Now this is just coming to mind, Twan. Is there any regrets? Like thinking back now, that's almost 10 years plus removed.
Yeah.
Are you when you think back to that, do you think, well, maybe I should have stayed at Iona Prep, or you kind of good with the decision you
Nah,
made?
I'm good. It was no
Cool,
regrets because my
cool.
senior year we had the best record in our conference as well, and we beat Iona, 2, 3 years in a row. So we used to
Ah,
play each
okay.
other at
Yeah.
least once, on their Iona Prep Christmas holiday, whatever.
Okay.
So it was a good rivalry going against
Got you.
my
Got you.
old team. Yeah,
Okay. Okay. That's dope. That's dope. So you playing against guys that you built that bond with. Y'all going at it.
yeah,
That's
yep,
that's dope. That's dope. That's dope. So again, you're in Westchester. I'm a Queens cat. Everybody from the boroughs considers Westchester like the sixth borough, right?
hmm,
Everybody, y'all still New York City.
yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about some of your tougher matchups in high school? Who were you competing against? Who you felt like, you know, I got to get some rest for this dude because he gonna try to come at me. I gotta be ready. Anybody?
High school, high
Yeah,
school or AAU or
both,
just
both.
both.
That's kind of the same time. So
Yeah. So same time. I had Kyrie in my grade.
okay.
So I played against him since I was 9.
Oh wow.
And I actually remember the last time we played was our senior year in high school in an AAU tournament, and he
Okay.
just committed to Duke. So
Ah.
I was like, okay, all right. So we both knew each other, and I
Okay.
had a game before that. I didn't know we were playing them. I had a game before that, and I came at halftime,
Okay.
and my coach is screaming like, "I don't care where he's going. I don't care who he is. He's not supposed to have 24 at half." And I'm changing. I'm looking like, who are we playing? Like, why is he? Why does somebody have 24? So
At
then
halftime.
now
Right.
I go like now we're about to warm up for halftime. I
Right.
said, oh, okay, I see who it is.
Okay.
So I told my coach, I was like, all right, let me stretch for like 2 minutes and then I'll jump right in.
Okay.
So I came in and then I said I got him. So I went right up to him and I was like, I don't care where you going, you get in this work. And he was like, okay, Mace, and I actually outscored him that half. So it was good to like play against people like that because I saw when he was in 9 years old and he was okay, and then out of nowhere his game like elevated, and I played against a lot of like New York legends, Jersey legends,
Of
and
course. Of course.
yeah,
Of
like it
course.
was battles all the time in that area, and then you go to AAU and you play people like Austin Rivers
Yeah.
and you play against a couple of people that you see in the league now.
Hmm.
Obviously, Tobias, who's from Long
Long
Island, you
Island.
play
Right. Right.
against
Right.
him. Yeah, so seeing people in the league that I went against is kind of cool, and then having that memory of going against them is pretty dope.
And knowing that you just as good too. Like, you know what I'm
Yep.
saying? That you was right there with them,
Yeah.
as they going through that. Was Sean Kilpatrick in your league while you were playing
He
high school?
was.
He
Yep.
was?
That's that was the game where I felt like, all right, I could play on any level and I could play against anybody. It was
Okay.
the year that I transferred to New Rochelle, my
Okay.
sophomore year. We played against White Plains, and everybody's talking about Kilpatrick.
Yeah.
He's about to go to Cincinnati, all
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. And we went into triple overtime, and I had 28, and we won.
Okay.
And that's like my team was excited. I was happy. We were happy that we won.
Hmm.
And going against him, I was like, you know what? Like he's considered the best person in Westchester at this time, and I
Right.
just had 28 as a sophomore, and I was like, I could play at any level. So that kind of helped my confidence right there.
28 and triple overtime, and you get the win
Yeah,
against the guy
the guy,
everybody's talking about that
the
guy.
guy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That got to do something for your confidence, though, right? As a sophomore, like
yep,
you kind of know, like, yo, I could do this. I could do this.
yeah,
Yeah, that's
yep,
dope.
definitely.
That's dope. So you have a stellar career in high school. Named athlete of the year your senior year in New Rochelle.
Mm-hmm.
You make a home at Niagara University.
Mm-hmm.
Could it have been any other school? What was that process like? Do you think you would have, anybody else had a chance in getting you?
Yeah, it was a couple of teams I was looking at. Like Manhattan was one of them.
Okay.
And then my junior year, I had like top teams like St. John's, Seton Hall, Providence looking at me, and then I got injured that summer, and they kind of fell off. But Niagara was always on it, checking up on me, and I saw the loyalty. And my dad always told me, and my mom always told me, you want to be somewhere where you need it and not want it. So
Okay.
I took it as, okay, they kind of fell off, kind of stopped talking to me like the big schools. I'm going to focus on the schools that really are there. And they came to my practices and they showed a lot of love.
Okay.
And when I went out there, it's actually funny. When I went out there, it was nothing to do. It was on a break. So nobody was there. It was nothing to do. It was isolated. And I was like, you know what? I think I need this type of environment to grow as a player. I wasn't thinking about partying or whatever. I was like,
Okay.
as a player, I could just focus because it's nothing to do. I said it can't get worse than this.
Right. Right.
And
Right.
so that was kind of like my thing that I, in a weird way, liked about Niagara, that
Gotcha.
it was isolated. Not everybody could really go up there unless you wanted to go up there because it's cold. It's cold in Niagara.
It's cold. We come from New York City, man.
Yeah.
It's cold, but it's a different
It's different.
kind of cold up there.
Yeah, it's a different kind of cold.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy, man. But again, after looking back at it, I feel like you made a great decision. You was able to have, great 4 years there. But let's jump into, your transition into there. You get there as a freshman, you start the first 3 games of the season, averaging almost 17 points a game. Have a brutal foot injury. First of all, I'm not familiar with the foot injury. Could you talk a little bit about that injury and what you learned about yourself, sitting out? Like, what did you learn about your life, about basketball, about, while you were sitting out that first year?
So the foot injury, I had a stress fracture in my foot,
Mm-hmm.
and it probably happened in preseason because my foot grew.
Okay.
And the sneakers started getting tight. So I was telling them, like, I think my foot grew. I think I need, like, bigger shoes.
Mm-hmm.
But, you're doing all the conditioning and running and everything, and they want you to all have the same sneakers.
Right.
So they were like, all right, I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you. And it was like a couple of weeks when they gave me a different pair, bigger size.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the damage was probably already done.
Okay.
because by the time the first game came, I was so nervous and anxious that I was going to start and everything. So we usually have to be there an hour and a half before. I was there 3 hours before, and I was full workout, sweat drenched,
Lathered
and
up,
everything.
sweat
Yeah,
ready.
like I was
Okay.
trying to work on everything because I was like, I don't want to be embarrassed. My whole
Uh,
family's gonna be here, like. And when I start warming up, when like it was actually time to warm up with the team, I thought I had a foot cramp. It felt like a foot cramp, and I never had a foot cramp before. I was like, that's weird. But I played through it. I had a good game. We lost that game.
mhm.
And then the second game, we playing against Georgia Tech, and they have Iman Shumpert.
Oh, Shump is there.
And yeah,
Okay.
that was his senior year,
Okay.
and I'm a freshman. And I'd never been nervous to play a game in my life until my assistant coach. It was his first year,
Okay.
and he did a recruiting or the scouting,
Mhm.
and that was the first time I ever been nervous to go against somebody because he going over the matchups. They also had Glenn Rice Jr. there, blah blah blah. They're going like over the stats,
Okay.
and then the last person is Iman, and like he discussed other players like, oh, they could go right, they could do this, they that. He was like Iman Shumpert, one word, beast. Looking like what? Like what? He said one word, beast, and he was like he has a Jordan Kobe post up game. He gave Duke 30 on defense. If you
Wow.
dribble right, he'll take it from you. If you dribble left, he'll take it from you. And my
Uh,
mom like, what am I supposed to do? Like I'm like,
and you were a freshman at this time.
yeah, I'm a freshman, and then I'm like, what? If I dribble right, if I dribble left, he's got to take it. He's a shark that smells blood. Like this is all he's saying. Like everything. I'm like, are you on their team or
Oh,
whatever? And
I
then he was
see.
like,
Right.
oh,
Right.
yeah. He was like, Mage, you're matched up with him. So I'm like, what? And like the game is the next day, so now my parents call me like, oh, how you feel about the game? And I'm trying to like, play it off like, yeah, I'm confident or
Uh-huh.
whatever. I'm nervous. I'm like, yo, if I dribble right, he's gonna take. If I'm like, what can I do? So I start watching like film on him, like games that he had before, because I'm like, I can't get embarrassed. Like,
Oh, hell no. Yeah.
so yeah.
Yeah.
So I actually had a great game. I scored 21
Mhm.
and my foot was messed up at halftime. By the second half, every time I scored and came down, I was like hopping on one foot, like I was running back, hopping on one foot. And I talked to my parents. I was like, I don't know what's going on with my foot, and they was like, you need to get that checked out. And I said, I will. And like we probably had another game kind of close to it, so I was like,
Okay.
I'll check it out after that one. And I played my third game, and I felt good. I didn't feel any pain.
Hmm.
And then I went baseline and I scored and I landed. And I one of my friends was in the stands like, yeah, Mace. And I'm running back and then I felt it and I like fell. And I could hear him like, where'd he go? And I like at that time I'm in pain, but like it was funny when I thought about it afterwards.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I just got up and I was trying to play through it. And I never asked for a sub, especially in college.
Hmm.
Um, but that time I asked my coach for a sub, and my trainer was trying to figure out what was going on. I was frustrated. I started punching my foot, trying to figure out like anything
What the
to
heck
get
is
back in
going
the
on?
game.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I forced myself back into the game, and I was just used as a decoy because at that time I was our leading scorer, and
Mm.
all the focus was still on me. But we end up winning that game, and I didn't get to really celebrate like I wanted to because then I had to go in the back and I had to put my foot in ice and get treatment. And my dad was at that game, so he was like, "You really need to check this out." So
Okay.
I got like an MRI and an X-ray, and nothing showed up at first. And then my mom was like, "You need to like get a bone scan or whatever." So she
Hmm.
told my trainer, got a bone scan, and it was kind of messed up how the nurse came in and told me. She just walked in and was like, "Oh, you have a stress fracture," and then walked out. And I'm by myself, like, yo, what is. So then I call my mom, like, they say I have a stress, because she's a nurse. So I'm like,
Ah.
they say
Okay.
I have a
Okay.
stress fracture and blah, blah, blah. And then she was like, see, I told you. So then I had to be in a boot for like 6 weeks. And
Damn. Wow.
that, yeah,
Wow.
that journey was tough because one is freezing cold. So now I have to like double socket in that boot. and the snow and everything. And then I can't play basketball like the reason I came here.
It's
So
the hoop.
I said
Yeah.
it couldn't get any worse, but it did get worse because now I can't play the
Now you
game I
can't
love.
hoop.
But I actually learned so much. And shout out to my senior point guard, Anthony Nelson. Like
Ant
I start,
Nelson. Ant
yeah,
Nelson. Yes, sir. We know
yeah,
that name. Ant.
yeah.
Yeah.
I start really watching how he played and what he saw, and I was asking him questions. He probably got annoyed with me because I was asking him so many questions
Okay.
while I was off. Man, we actually never got to play on the court together because he was hurt the first 3 games.
Mm.
Then he comes back, and then I was out for the whole season. So I just used him as like a teacher. Like
Okay.
obviously, I you know saw my coach, and he would tell me what to do. But to have that senior point guard, especially with a young team that we had,
Mm-hmm.
it was a blessing because I learned so much that year just sitting out, like what to reads that as a freshman you don't see until
But he probably
you
could
see
see
it.
that you was next up. He could probably
Yeah.
see that, like, yeah, he's the next one. I know he's going out. He's a senior at the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he knows.
Yeah.
He probably already looking at you like, it sucks that you're going through this injury, but I know he's the next one up. He's the next
Yeah,
one.
because in practice when we played together before his injury, like our connection was it was amazing. Like I
That's
wanted
dope.
that was the one person that I have a regret that I wasn't able to play like a full season with because
Mm.
his vision was like the passes that he used to do. He would like throw a pass and I'm looking and like the person's still like in their cut. And soon as that cut is like perfect timing, like they
Right
get
there
in
in
the
their
ball.
pocket.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was amazing. So I was like, wow, all right, that's special.
Yeah.
And me being the scorer, I'm like, oh, these are easy buckets for me. Like
Right.
he's got to give it to me. But we
Yeah.
never got to play with each other in that season.
Wow. That's crazy. That's crazy. So you go into that summer, I'm sure there's intense rehab. I'm sure that,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes being frustrated, just trying to get back on the court, right? But once you do get back on the court, 3 healthy
Yeah,
seasons at Niagara, all conference, back-to-back years. You even lead the country in scoring one year, 25 a
yeah.
night, right? How did your game, if you could speak on it, how did your game evolve from the time you walked into Niagara until the time you were leading the nation in scoring?
I have to give a lot of credit to my dad.
Okay.
Those summers, we put a lot of pain in. Like we watched games that I didn't play well, and
Mm-hmm.
games that I did play well, things that I needed to work on, things that I knew that was my strengths. And in the summer, that's where we really grinded. We worked on all the weak things that I was needed help with.
Okay.
And we polished up on the strong, and that's where I start developing my game. He was like, all right, what's your go-to move in this area? What's this? What's that? So I start making more reads, and every year I start developing. And then that year that I led the nation in scoring, that summer, it was actually, I want to say it was the year of the lockout. So
Okay. Like
we were able
2011,
to,
2012.
so
Okay.
we were able to go into the Knicks facility because nobody was there. So
Up in what's that? In Purchase?
yep.
Okay.
So
Okay.
now I'm on a full NBA court.
Mm-hmm.
He has me doing all bunch of conditioning things and
Wow.
testing my my stamina and see if I will ever quit because some of the workouts were crazy, and I was just working on everything. Like it got to the point that I wasn't even focused on one-on-one. He was like, you could get by anybody. So now you got to see where the help's coming, where this guy's coming, if they're trapping, if they double team me, if they triple team me. Like we worked on every layer of the game that year that when I was on the court that season, everything was in slow motion.
Wow.
I could see plays before it even developed, and
Mm-hmm.
I have to really credit him on my success that season.
Yo, That's dope. That's dope, Tom, for real, man. Because from the outside looking in, like I'm a basketball junkie, right? Just junkie. I eat, sleep, and live it, right? But
Yeah.
I know for like the casual fan that just kind of watches the game for just watching the game,
Mm-hmm.
everybody don't know that Anthony Mason was so particular about the game. If you telling me that he's watching film with you, got you in it, that's a different type of attention
Yeah.
on watching the game. So I can only imagine how he approached, his career and watching
Mm-hmm.
film and being prepared, for the next night's matchup and stuff like that. So that's good insight. I appreciate, you sharing that.
Yeah.
You sharing
And
that.
he also he told me that on top of him wanting to do that, Pat Riley had the whole Knicks squad knowing their assignments like in depth. Like for instance, they say they play the Bulls, they say Jordan goes to his right 63% of the time.
Mm-hmm.
If he goes, like, if he dribbles back, he's doing this move 48% of the time. Like, they had everything precise where, you're on the court the next game, you pretty much know everybody's moves or their traits, their habits, and that gave them an advantage, especially on defense.
Okay.
Those 90s years that they knew what was expected or they knew what was coming. So
right, the level of preparation was crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. So he took that on his own, and he always said, he had, abilities, but he felt like he wasn't that freaker nature ability. So he had to work extra hard.
Okay.
So he made sure he was sharper with his mind, and everything else would take care of itself.
Okay. So you able to gain an extra year of eligibility, because of that foot injury that you were speaking about. You redshirt that year, so now that tacks on another year for you. You finish out your time at Niagara, and you head over to the SEC. At that time, it's one of the best conferences in the country.
Yeah.
Two-part question for you, Twan. How do you end up there? And what the heck was it like playing for Bruce Pearl that one year?
I ended up there because I love the relationship that I had with BP, talking to him. He said you could start, something special with this program.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to take that challenge. And that was probably part two of the reason why I wanted to go there. But the number one reason was the fact that Kentucky was in that conference. I wanted them, and I wanted them bad. They had everybody, year after year, a bunch of NBA players. And if I was going to make a move, it was going to compete against the best. Or else I would have just stayed in Niagara and became the leading scorer, because I left at number 3, and I think I only had to average at that time 18 something to beat Calvin Murphy. And I know I know he was happy that I left, because even my freshman year he noticed it, and he was like, "Hey," he used to tell my coach Mahalik, he was like, "Hey, he get close, you got to sit him down. You got to sit him down." So he used to.
So he used to joke. He probably had his shiny suit on. Was a wild ass suit, telling him that's crazy. Crazy. Yeah.
So leaving Niagara, it was a tough decision. I obviously spent 4 years, loved it there, and had friends that I consider family now. But going to Auburn, I was like, you know what, I get to compete against the top dogs. And it was actually funny because my dad was like, "Oh, they have that 7-footer that could guard 1 through 5." Talking about Willie Cauley-Stein.
Oh, Willie Cauley-Stein. Okay.
Yeah, so I was like, I'm the leader of the nation. Nobody could guard me. Like,
I'm leading the nation in scoring, Dad.
Yeah, I was like, I said, so that was like it was actually funny. That was kind of like my main focus. That anytime when I played against Kentucky, if he match up with me, he cannot stop me. Like, he can't stop. Yeah, it was, yeah. And I didn't know, obviously they always have freshmen coming in, so I didn't know the rest of the people, but I knew they were all going to be NBA caliber
Gotcha.
players.
Gotcha.
And that year
We
they only
hope.
lost one game in the Final Four, and they had Booker and Carl Anthony Towns, the
Mm-hmm.
twins,
Mm-hmm.
Ulis.
Yeah, they were stacked. They were stacked.
Yeah,
That was really my next question, bro, because you had 2 games against them that year, um,
hmm
and they were a pretty stacked team. You go for 23 in one game, 29 in the next, or vice versa, whichever
yeah,
one.
yeah.
But both games you was on one. Are you raising your level of play because you know you're gonna match up against Devin Booker tonight, or with I got Kentucky tonight. I gotta show them, they don't want this. Where's your mindset when you playing against them?
My mindset at the first game, um, that's when my dad was sick.
Okay.
So I was in a hospital, and I didn't want to leave him. And I told him, I said, I'm gonna stay here until you get better. And he just started shaking, like, no. Like the ventilator started going high and everything. I was like, you want me to finish my season? And he was like, yeah. So it was probably 2 games before Kentucky. So I had time to like think about it. I knew it was coming up close
Okay.
to play Kentucky at Lexington or whatever. So I was like, all right, this is my chance. Like they're undefeated, they're killing everybody, and we did like the scouting report, and it was kind of more of what they do and not the individual players because they did the platoon 5-and-5.
Okay.
So I watched, did extra time of all right, my matchups and everything. And it was actually kind of funny. I was tying my shoe
Uh,
before the game started, and they had like fireworks going off.
so this
Like
this is the
the
game at Kentucky first. You had
yeah,
okay.
the game at Kentucky.
Okay.
So like the fireworks went off, and I timed my shoe. I wasn't expecting it, so I jumped. I like knowing this, they probably got cameras everywhere. This is about to be like on. I was like, nah, this I can't go out like
Oh
that.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So they started the game off killing us, and I remember I worked on like the day before floaters against 7-footers, bigs, and everything. So I was like, all right, they have a big squad, whatever. So my first move, I made a move to the baseline, and I shot a floater against Carl Anthony Towns, and I didn't expect him to like catch the shot, and he blocked it, and I went for the ball or whatever, and I like fell, and then they got the ball, and I was like, wow, I didn't even go out of bounds. I said, nah, I really can't go out like this. So
Okay.
then I got like pissed off because the score was ridiculous at first. So then my
Okay.
pride came in. I was like, I'm from New York, like I
Yeah.
played against all the top people now. They gotta
Talk
feel
about it.
this.
Talk about it,
Like,
Twan. Talk about it.
so everybody after that, once I put that mindset on, especially I said, if I'm leaving my dad's hospital bed, it's gonna be for a reason.
Right.
And that became my whole motive. And anybody that start guarding me after that, they got that work. All the highlights you could see.
I was.
Anybody that came in my way, it was they was gonna know who I was.
Yeah, I went
And what
back.
was actually cool, what I like about Kentucky, the Kentucky fans know, like, when a real player, like, they
Okay.
respect players that could really hoop. And
Okay.
they knew I was going through, a bad time with my dad, and their fans checked up on me and made
Wow.
sure so, like, I appreciate that.
That's respect.
But that game, I was so locked in that I didn't even remember it. Like, everybody told me like the stats and everything, and I didn't necessarily remember that moment. I was
Mm-hmm.
just in that moment
Right.
until like I watched the game afterwards, later on, and I was like, oh, okay, that was kind of
That's kind of
nice.
dope. That's kind of dope.
And
Yeah.
then,
Yeah.
and then the second game we played them in the SEC tournament, the Final Four,
Okay.
and I was like, they still haven't lost. I felt like we had a team that could challenge them a little bit,
Uh-huh.
like make it tough. But then we lost both our bigs before the game. I was like, all right, so this is gonna be really
It's
tough.
gonna be tough.
And I was like, if this is gonna be my last game, then I got to go out um, the best way I know how to. So
Definitely.
everybody that game again, I went at, and I was actually talking to Coach Cal and everything, telling them they can't guard me, and I was like, and he got so
You
mad.
start chatting. You start chatting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he got, even the first game I was talking, and I was talking to like everybody, but that game, Coach Cal like took it personal, like, y'all need to stop him. Anytime he scores, you get it subbed out. So now I heard that. I said, oh, okay, this is
We about
gonna
to
be
get
fun. Even
everybody
though
out
like
of here.
I'm trying to win, but I'm like, all right, this is gonna be fun.
Right.
So anybody that's guarding me, I'm like, all right, next, sit down. Next,
Yes.
sit down. And
I
one
love it.
particular
I love it.
moment,
I love it.
one particular moment, I got the ball at the corner three, and Booker was guarding me, and I was like, I'm pulling up. You're gonna foul me, and you're gonna sit down. He was like, what? Jab, jab. He fouled me. I said,
Sit down.
next, stood on the
I
bench.
love it. I love it. I love
So
it.
it was kind of fun playing. You know, at that time I actually, you know, I was in the moment, but I actually remember it.
Okay.
So you know, it was a fun experience. Obviously, I wanted to win, but you know, going against those players that they consider to be the top, and I outplayed them. I was like, all right, I could play at that next level. I just have to get that opportunity, and that's still my, you know,
no question.
mission and motivation right there.
Right. Oh man, I appreciate you sharing that with us, man. I watched some, some highlights from that game, and I was like, yo, I got to get Twan to dive in on this because he was going crazy on that. That's fire.
It was
That's
actually
fire.
another funny moment was I forgot the percentage that I went. I think it was definitely over like 50% both games at the 3-point line.
Uh-huh.
And my dad used to like joke around with me and say, yo, stop shooting all those threes. Like, you know, when I was in Niagara, he's like, stop shooting all those threes. That's gonna mess up your percentage.
Okay.
And then BP told me, like, I went to his office and he was like, guess who's leading the SEC in 3-point percentage? I had no idea. I was like, who? He was like, you at 44%.
Wow.
I was like, oh.
Wow.
So then I went to, and that, you know, that was the whole like reason I kind of changed my game because everybody said, all right, he could score, he could get to the hole, but can he shoot? So that whole year, I was just like, all right, I'm gonna prove to everybody that I could shoot. So then I went back to the hospital to see my dad, and he couldn't talk because he had the the tubes and everything. Yeah. But I'm talking to him, and you know, my mom was like, "Yeah, he watched the game. He was smiling and everything. He was just smiling at me." So I was like, "Dad, for somebody that can't shoot, he's leading the SEC in 44%." And he looked at me like a shoulder shrug.
Okay.
We just started laughing. We both started laughing.
That's
so
dope.
that was
That's
a cool
fire.
moment.
That's fire. Real fast though. Real fast. We're gonna count freshman year, but your sophomore year, 27% from three.
Mm-hmm.
Next year, 31.5. You lead the country in scoring 25 a game, but you only shoot 28% from three. Mm-hmm. That year at Auburn, you finished the year at 40% from three.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Like that jump, that's crazy. You really worked hard, man. You really worked hard.
I have to give credit to the coaches and the managers because I'm a gym rat. Like till this day, like I'm always working on my game.
Okay.
And Chuck Persons, he helped me with my, how to shoot the three at that time. And then Coach Adler, he's the one that was in the gym with me nonstop and just watching me, develop and everything like that. And then we had the managers that was there and rebounding for me. So I was just really, really just trying to figure out how, what's the best way to get my shot off and how I could be effective. And I was just in the gym, Yo,
that's
nonstop.
You was getting tutelage from Chuck Person? Like that's crazy. Like that's dope. Yeah.
I'm Rifleman, yo.
Rifleman, yeah. Yeah, that's dope. That's dope. So, okay, getting tutelage from Chuck Person, playing for Bruce Pearl. Father is Anthony Mason, brother Anthony Mason Jr. All of that, is your goal the NBA, or do you have other aspirations? Is the goal like I got to get to the league? I want to be in the
Yeah,
league.
my goal is always gonna be to get into the league until I
Okay.
feel like, I can't get there. And I
Okay.
still feel like I'm developing my game.
Mm-hmm.
Like this summer, I've been playing really well,
Okay.
and killing the league.
Yeah.
So, and it's kind of everything's kind of coming together,
Okay.
and I feel like I'm having another big jump in my growth of a basketball player. So I'm excited to see how the summer ends up, how I continue to play, and my next professional job, how I play.
Hey, right. That's great. That's great. Um, I wanted to touch on briefly, and if you don't want to talk about it, I'm cool with that. But I know 2015 was a tough year for you. I
Yep.
know your dad passed away. Rest in peace, Anthony Mason. But you also go undrafted. I'm sure that's somewhat frustrating. And then your first professional opportunity is over in Cyprus. You know,
Mhm.
can you talk a little bit about that year and what helped you during your grieving process and getting through that time?
Yeah. First game at Auburn, I had a high ankle sprain. I played well, but I had a high ankle sprain, and I was out for like 6 games or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm trying to get myself back into a rhythm and back in shape. Obviously, it's my senior year. I want to, make it to the league,
Right.
and I start, feeling comfortable, start getting better when I'm playing out. And my dad, he always used to take trips to come see me, and it was one particular trip. Um, we were working out like after practice, working out like we usually do.
Mm-hmm.
But this time he was actually just telling the managers what to like do, catch rebounds, whatever. And then after I worked out, we were both sitting in the stadium in the arena, and he was just sitting next to me. He was like, 2015 is going to be the hardest year of your life. If you could get through this, you could get through anything.
Wow.
And I'm just thinking like, all right, my ankle injury, and I don't know if God sent him that message because I know for a fact he wasn't talking about his health. Like
Right.
he would have, but I'm like, all right, I could recover, off my ankle injury. And my great aunt just passed away. So I'm like,
Okay.
I have her in my memories and everything like that. And then he gets sick and he passed away. And it was weird how, he kind of predicted 2015 being my hardest year.
Yeah.
And my mind after him passing wasn't there like on basketball. Like that was that connection that me and him both
Of
had.
course. Of
So
course.
now I'm like, all right, do I still want to play ball? Like my heart's not really into it at this
Okay.
moment. And it was like the worst timing because it's all right, you finish your season, now you gotta do all the NBA workouts and everything, but I played well, but not to my standards. I know I didn't play well to my standards.
Okay.
So, being undrafted, I'm like, all right, I just got to grind it out. But my heart really wasn't, I was going to sit out that first year, but my agent was like, you need to, play. And I was going to do the G League. My first agent, I was supposed to do the G League, but he messed that up. I'm not even gonna go into that. So
Okay.
I went
That's
with
cool.
another
That's
agent.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I went with another agent, and then he looked out after me, and
Okay.
you know, was like, "You need to play, or else it's like basketball suicide for missing the whole season." So
Uh,
I went out there and I played. My heart really wasn't into it, but I played well.
mm,
And then I kind of took like 2 weeks off after that season to see like, do I really want to do this? Like my mom was like, you should take like 2 weeks, see if you want to play or whatever. She said, I'm not pressuring you. You have your degrees, you have your masters, you're fine, on or off the court.
right.
And I took like that 2 weeks off, and I just start getting that itch again. Like I would really want to play ball.
Okay.
And I was like, you know what? If I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do it to my best abilities, and I'm gonna honor my dad. I'm honoring my mom, my family. Anytime I step on that court, and I just start falling in love with the game again. I felt like a little kid again, like
That's
just
dope.
running around.
That's
So
dope.
that motivated me, and anytime I have a rough patch, like a bad game or anything like that, I just think of words my dad said. 2015 is going to be your worst year. If you can get through this, you can get through anything. So I'm like, you know what? It's just one day or it's one game or whatever. I could get better and, bounce back from that. So that's my whole motivation. If I ever have like any doubts or whatever, I just think about those words.
That's dope. That's dope. That's great, man. That's great. You was talking about, falling in love with the game again, right? You go from Cyprus and then you get the opportunity to play with the Halifax Hurricanes. And we got Cliff in the house right now, Cliffy in here. So, I got a lot of admiration for Cliff. I know you played with Cliff and stuff like that. So shout out to Cliffy. But over your time there, you become the all-time leading scorer in in 2 seasons, right? Is that when you really started to fall in love with the game again? What was it about that opportunity that kind of opened up things for you, playing there at Halifax?
It's actually funny that you spoke of Cliff. It was actually having Cliff, Mike Poole, like people from Queens, people I'm familiar with, that I'm playing with, and I'm like, all right, cool. Like, these are my dogs, and we're playing against everybody else. So now it's New York versus everybody. That was the whole, our motivation, New York versus anybody.
Right.
And we all had each other's back. We held each other accountable. Like, you can't play like this. You got to play like that. You got to step your game up. Having them on the court with me, it motivated me. Like, all right, I got to get better. And we used to push each other. We used to always be in the gym in the mornings before we had practices. It was like 8 a.m., 7 a.m. You see me, Cliff, and Poole out there just working. And we set the tone. Yeah, we set the tone on our roster that we're gonna outwork people. Either it's gonna be defense or we're gonna get hot on offense. But we're gonna fight. We're gonna scrap, and that's
fire. Yeah. That's dope. Having the Queens backcourt playing in Canada, getting work. That's dope. I love that. So, this is not coincidental. I think everything kind of happens for a reason. Things align in the universe for a reason, right? So, in 2017, you earned a 6 Man of the Year award for the NBDL in Canada, right? Everybody probably doesn't remember, but Anthony Mason is a 6 Man of the Year award winner playing for the New York Knicks.
Yeah.
Yo, where do you hold that award? How special is that award to you to have one just like your pops, man?
It's very special, and what made it more ironic was I came off the bench that season 14 games, like my lucky number, our favorite number.
That's his number.
Yep.
Wow.
That's the reason why I wear 14.
Wow.
And it was 14 games that I came off the bench, and then I started the rest of the season. But I still had the award, and it was special to me because having stories, talking to my dad about his 6 man and how he led the league in minutes that year and highest PER and all that. It was special to me, and then to find out that I wasn't thinking, I was just playing the season, and to find out that I came off the bench 14 games, I was like, wow, okay. Go figure, it would be that number. It would be that number. So that was very special to me. I hold that award very high to me. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure that's special. That's so dope, man. I think, like I said, that didn't happen in coincidence, man. That that was supposed to happen. All of that was supposed to happen. So you a young dude, Twan. You ain't 30. You just turned 29 a couple months ago. I'm a May birthday. You got a May birthday, right? So you're not 30 yet. The aspiration is the NBA, but I'm curious to hear from you. What do you think it's going to take for you to get there?
That's why I didn't do the TBT this year. People wanted me to do certain tournaments, and my whole motivation this summer was to perfect my craft at everything, work on my jump shot. I didn't want to have a Band-Aid on my game because Band-Aids fall off, so you can't just keep colon on it. So I've been working on things that I know that if I'm getting to that next level or any high level, if they want me to do this, I could do that. If they want me to do this, I could just, adjust to any type of system. So this summer I've been, focusing more on playing point guard, shooting more consistently and just seeing the game and letting the game come to me more. So that's been my biggest thing this summer. And, obviously you got to play defense and all the other things. So I just been making sure every time I step on that court, it's, leave a great impact. Don't take it for granted.
Right. Absolutely. We're gonna see you in the show, Tom. We're gonna see you in the show. It's coming. We're gonna see you in the show. So I got a couple more questions, bro. Just some fun questions for you. You know what I'm saying? This has been great for me. I really appreciate you again doing this for me, man. A couple fun ones for you. So again, from Queens, but you grew up mostly hooping in New Rochelle. You go into your favorite park, wherever you grew up, favorite park, favorite gym, whatever that is. You go in there and you bring in you and 4 other guys, and y'all trying to run. You ain't trying to come off the court. Who you bringing with you? Doesn't matter who it is. 4 other guys. Who you bringing with you?
What, alive now? Like right now?
Don't matter. Doesn't matter.
Or in their prime?
Right now.
Right now? In their prime?
In their prime. Right now. Yeah.
Me, MJ.
Okay.
Obviously, my dad's in there.
Okay.
I'll have LeBron in there.
Okay.
And I'll go with Hakeem Olajuwon.
This was supposed to happen. We were supposed to have this conversation. Yo, man, Dream is probably one of my favorite players of all time. I live down here in Houston now, and I go to this gym, and, me and my family, we get in there and stuff like that. And I see this dude all the time, man. Finally got up enough courage to walk over and, shake his hand and stuff like that. Super cool dude, super nice dude. Just, I'm glad you said his name, man, because he's a dope brother. We was talking about you and your dad watching game film and just him being a student of the game and him helping you be a student and y'all learning together. So that just means your basketball IQ is up there. If you sitting at a table and you talking just strictly hoops, you and 4 other guys are at that table. Who you want to talk hoops with? Whose basketball mind do you respect and want to talk hoops with?
Obviously MJ's, because he has that killer instinct. I want to talk to Kobe. Okay. Just watching his, the way he talks and his stories are amazing. Okay. I'm not gonna add my dad to it because I had the luxury of just being around that.
Right. Okay.
I'll put Magic in there.
Okay.
Because the way he handled himself on the court and then after what he developed, and
one more for us.
One more. There's so many to choose from.
I know.
It'll be between either Dwayne Wade. I'm gonna throw my boy in there.
Okay.
I'm gonna throw my boy in there. Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna throw my boy in there.
Okay. Throw D Wade in there. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So you get an opportunity to look in the mirror. You're looking at a 15-year-old Antoine Mason. You're looking at him now at your age right now. What kind of information are you giving to him? What advice are you providing him for what he's getting ready to go through with the rest of his life?
Don't quit. Just stay motivated. Trust the process.
Okay.
I would probably tell myself at 15, just be fearless. Like, just go out there. Just trust your instinct.
Okay. Last question for you, brother. And I probably could have asked this earlier, But I thought this would be a good way to kind of wrap up and kind of bring everything full circle.
Mm-hmm.
What's the best advice your dad ever gave you?
Be yourself. Just be yourself. You know, you can learn from other people. Don't be afraid to ask questions, but be yourself. Trust yourself, and you know, always put God first. He was a big believer in putting God first, and that's what I do. I usually have a band on my wrist. What would Jesus do? Or you know, I you know, just have faith in God and just put everything else after that.
Oh man, I don't know how else to even wrap this up any better, man. I greatly appreciate your time, Twan. Appreciate you just providing such good information, man. This was great, man. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you
Oh
enjoyed
yeah, I
this.
definitely enjoy it. Like anytime you need me in these lives, I love it.
Yeah,
This
man.
is definitely dope.
We're gonna connect again soon. Obviously, you kind of know this is a new platform for me. I'm building it. It's growing, and it's becoming bigger and bigger. And I'm just trying to be here to give you guys your flowers because you guys are just amazing and guys that I have real admiration for with the game of
I
basketball.
appreciate you.
So
Definitely.
I appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much. This was great. Hope you have a
Thanks
blessed
for having
evening.
me
Thank you
again.
again, man.
All right, bro.
Appreciate you, boss. That's episode 43, y'all. That's episode 43. I want to thank y'all so much for jumping in with me as I chopped it up with Mr. Antoine Mason, the late great Anthony Mason's son. He was great. Again, this will be posted shortly on my Instagram page. Y'all can go ahead and rewatch that. And as I was telling y'all before, I'm on Spotify now. I'm on Anchor. I'm on Google. I will soon be on Apple Podcasts, so you guys can listen to the audio whenever you get a chance, on your way to the store, riding your bike, at work. Whatever you're doing, throw the audio on, check me out. And, I'm going to be back at y'all again very soon. Want to let y'all know I'm going on vacation. I'm going on vacation this weekend. So Thursday, I will not be bringing y'all an episode, and Monday, I will not be bringing y'all an episode. But I will be back next Thursday, y'all. We'll be back next Thursday with hopefully something great. So again, thank y'all so much. Thank y'all. I appreciate y'all jumping in. Episode 43 is in the books. It's Flea. Love y'all. I'm out of here, y'all.